Masloboyev has vacated the light heavyweight belt due to a positive drug test against Tariq Hababez, where he regained the belt back. And this is very interesting news for the Glory Light Heavyweight division. I'm not going to speak too much on Masloboyev. There's not much to say here. I mean, he says it was unintentional. He didn't mean to use any enhancements or whatever prohibited things, but only he knows at the end of the day. I'm not going to speak too much upon it. All I can say is unlucky for him. His time in Glory is probably done. Going to get suspended for this, obviously. And he's already old, man. He's like 38, so I don't see him coming back. What I do want to talk about, however, is who's going to fight for the vacant belt. You know, this is one of the most interesting divisions in Glory. And there's quite a few options that they can go through here. I think there's 3 options that they can choose from. I think the first option is Artem Vakitov. Obviously, he's deserving of it, man. He's the greatest light heavyweight in Glory history. Has something like 5 defenses, you know. And the way he lost his belt was unfair, right? He got kicked out of Glory during when the war started because he's Russian, and he never lost the belt. You know, he never really lost the belt. He's the lineal champion, greatest light heavyweight in Glory history. He deserves a chance, even though he just had a chance at Rico for the heavyweight belt, and he didn't do too great. This is his real division, and a lot of people have been calling him, saying that he should get a chance again, you know. He should fight for what a lot of people say is his belt. The second option is Tariq Hababez. Obviously, he just lost the belt unfairly as well. He lost to an opponent who was doping in Masloboyev, and he should get a chance to fight for it again at the end of the day. He has a large fan base. He's Moroccan. Very exciting, entertaining style, very marketable, and I think he also deserves a chance. And obviously, the third option, the fan favourite, Bahram Rajabzadeh. I think this is the one everyone wants to see. Obviously, Bahram. Haven't seen him ever since he got knocked out by Chroma. Everyone's waiting for his comeback. Biggest fight in Glory right now, in my opinion. He's like on the top of the world, really. Everyone wants to see him fight. Everyone loves this guy. And they promised him the fight at light heavyweight. That's the thing. They promised him a chance at the belt. So now they're in a predicament. They have 3 fighters who really should get a chance here. You know, there's Bahram, who they promised it to because he fights basically every event. There's Hababez, who just lost it unfairly to Masloboyev and was the champion before. And there's Vakitov, who they took the belt from very unfairly and kicked him out of Glory just because of his nationality. So there's 3 options they can go here. They can go on the route of the most deserving matchup, which would be Vakitov against Hababez. But the only problem with that one is that's not really a marketable fight. You know, what they need to do now is headline Glory 104 in RTM stage, you know. And they need a main event. They have no main event for that card. And this will be their main event. Will be for the vacant light heavyweight belt. Can they make Hababez against Vakitov? They could. But it's not a marketable fight where you can like really promote it much. They can go on the route of biggest names, which would be Bahram against Vakitov. You know, greatest light heavyweight of all time. They just took him away from the UFC. He's making his comeback now in light heavyweight against Bahram, obviously, who's the most popular guy in Glory right now. That's an interesting fight as well. Could go either way, maybe not, but like it's an interesting fight. Or they can go on the route of biggest fan base. You know, if they want to sell out RTM, if they want the most fans, biggest hype fight, which is Bahram against Hababez. You know, that's the biggest fight they could make in terms of popularity, in terms of people watching, people wanting to see that fight. Obviously, you got a Moroccan fan base behind Hababez, and you got Bahram's fan base, which is basically everyone and the Moroccans. So that's the fight where you'd get the most views, you know. And I think what they should do, what I would want them to do, and what I think they're going to do, is they're going to do Bahram against Hababez. I think that's the biggest fight they can make right now, you know. They're both good, they've both been active, both been fighting, you know. Both have a lot of fans, and they need a headline Glory 104 somehow, you know. They promise it to Bahram. Bahram's definitely going to get, mark my words. I've seen a lot of people saying it's going to be Hababez against Vakitov. I don't think so. I think Bahram's definitely going to be involved. I think it's going to be Hababez. I think that's just the biggest fight they can make. Bahram against Hababez. Headline, main event, Glory 104. Bahram scored him out before, you know. 2 exciting styles. You know that fight's going to end in a knockout. That's going to be a crazy fight. Like literally 2 of the most aggressive guys in Glory fighting. That's what I want to see. I think that's what most people can see. They can give the fight to Vakitov next year. Maybe give him a match in between of like Chemka Keres or something to prove himself, to prove that he's still in the level. Because we just saw him against Rico. He wasn't that impressive, in my opinion. Obviously, that's against Rico. A lot of people aren't impressive against Rico. He's just that good. But I think right now, do Bahram Hababis for the belt. And that way, you can even get Bahram to fight in December. You know, let's say he wins against Hababis. Let's say no injuries, wins pretty comfortably. You can put him as a wild card in December. Then you're maximizing views and fans. And Bahram Hababis is selling out RTM stage quickly. I promise you that. End of the day, this is a money business, and I think that's what they're gonna do. But I'm really curious. I'm really excited to see where they're gonna go with this. You guys let me know in the comments what you think they should do and what fight you want to see for the light heavyweight belt. Until then, have a good one.